The necessity of legal marriage. Q, a divorce attorney, specializing in divorce cases, claims that after a divorce, remarrying via a legal, registered marriage is unnecessary, arguing instead that dating or cohabitation is sufficient. In reality, many young couples live together without registering their marriage on official records. Given that such couples do not receive legal protection, can maintaining a relationship as free-spirited lovers be seen as a desirable alternative in this new era of marriage? A. Society now presents us with various circumstances, and people are trying different approaches. Through all the knowledge we have accumulated over the years and by trying to impose order, we have discovered that some methods work poorly while others simply do not work at all. So what should we do going forward? The answer is, do as you please. Live without anyone dictating your choices. Experiment. Find out whether one approach works better than another or whether certain methods lead to difficulties. In today's changed times, if we want to become one, we must meet for the sake of mutual growth. The days when we met simply because we needed someone are over. That era, which lasted until around 2012, is now behind us. Now, we must meet in order to mutually benefit each other. Our lives need to change in favor of mutual prosperity. But what exactly is meant by mutual prosperity? Is it enough if I have little money while the other person has plenty and we share our funds? No, that is not true mutual benefit. When you and I meet, we first conduct something like an interview. Where do we do this? At a cafe or a restaurant, where we interview each other about whether or not we should live together. During this interview, we must find out what ideals the other person holds for their future. To decide whether you can trust someone, you first ask about their ideals. What do they plan to do going forward? Such questions are essential. Through this conversation, you gradually draw out the other person's ideals. A knowledgeable person lives according to an ideal, whereas an uneducated person lives for material gains. If you are going to live with someone, you must ask what ideals they live by and what their life's purpose is. Likewise, ask about how they wish to live so that your goals align. When, through conversation, you discover that you can help one another in certain areas, you might think, we truly are well matched, and decide to live together. Mutual support is essential. Even if I have grown through one ideal and you through another, if our dialogue allows us to help each other, that is genuine help. And help does not come from money. Money given to me is not true support. Rather, the support must come from the conversation itself. It is about whether what I say, based on my ideals, can fill the gaps in what you might be lacking. This is achieved through verbal exchange that benefits both sides. Looking back at the families that have split up, the common reason is a failure in communication. Even among couples who have not yet separated, many live with a sense of frustration because they cannot truly communicate. So, what happens when communication works? All our difficulties are resolved. When we converse well, our undertakings go smoothly. For things to work out, first the inner frustrations must be addressed. Then the necessary money and favorable circumstances will automatically come. Thus, if you meet someone with whom you can work through your frustrations, a person of sufficient character, you both can achieve mutual prosperity. It is best to find someone with whom you can truly converse. Since 2013, if you cannot communicate effectively, you should not live together. To become friends, you must help each other. However, simply lending money or giving material help can backfire. When you lend money and then later cannot provide a larger sum when needed, that person may turn against you. Constantly lending money can inflate someone's sense of entitlement. I once did not understand why such things happened. The lesson is that you cannot truly help someone with material assistance if you supply material aid. that person's greed only grows, and eventually the consequences come back to you. Even if it is a little difficult, you must understand what true help really is. True help is simply listening attentively to what the other person has to say. If you listen well, you will eventually find the right words to assist that person. That is what it means to help. And if the other person listens carefully to your words, even if they initially speak little, after hearing you repeatedly, they will begin to speak, offering you words that prove beneficial. When you truly listen to the other person, wisdom arises, and the words you need will emerge. That is wisdom. Wisdom comes only when you live rightly. If you live wrongly, wisdom will never appear. One does not gain wisdom merely by practicing meditation or any form of ritual practice. True practice is about identifying and resolving one's own shortcomings. When you do that, you transform into someone who acknowledges and respects others and listens well to what they have to say. When you listen carefully, the wise words that the other person needs will naturally emerge. Even if the other person does not typically listen, if you make a sincere effort to listen, they will not leave you. Just the act of listening helps the other person, and by listening with true sincerity, the wisdom needed for them will emerge. That is how help is given. The economy and the environment are provided by society and by the heavens. When your inner frustration is resolved, good conditions naturally come your way, just as nature provides without error down to 0.1. This is the law of nature. So, what is the way to get along well with another person and succeed together? You must learn from the teachings of everyday life and find your path within that life. That is the art of living. If you are to enter into marriage, you must make at least 100 days worth of effort, even if you start from humble beginnings. By meeting, talking, and engaging in other activities that can be mutually beneficial, it does not matter whether you register your marriage or simply live together. You can live together and register the marriage later. When you date without living together, you are only managing the outer appearance. Once you live together, true desires and ambitions become apparent. If, after living together for 3 months or a year, you notice that personal selfishness or some negative inner habit, almost like a mischievous demon, begins to surface, then you must decide, should you break up, or should you continue living together? How can you register a marriage with someone you might eventually separate from? When you register your marriage, you are making a promise to the heavens. It may seem as if you are the ones making the promise, but in fact, it is the heavens that record your decision. Then, your union is inscribed as a marriage in the heavens. Simply living together is not recorded by the heavens because you never know when you might part ways, so it is not permanently noted. However, when you register your marriage with the state, that record ascends to the heavens. Therefore, if you later separate, you are marked as having a failed marriage, a kind of criminal record. If you do not register your marriage and keep your names off the official record, then even if you separate, it is seen merely as a breakup, and your life does not carry a lasting blemish. But if you break up once, twice, or 3 times, then the consequences imposed by nature will be felt. That is why you should try dating and even living together for a while, and if, after a year, you find that things are deepening and becoming more positive, then you can go ahead and register your marriage. Registering a marriage is extremely simple. In a society like ours, we must make full use of these options and live accordingly. The necessity of legal marriage, how to build a life together in a changing era. In the past, marriage often happened simply because people needed a partner. However, in today's world, relationships should be based on mutual benefit rather than just necessity. Given this shift, is it better to live together without legal marriage, or is official registration still important? Let's explore the answer. 1. Free love versus legal marriage. Some people argue that legal marriage is unnecessary and that dating or cohabiting is enough. However, without legal marriage, couples do not receive legal protection, and if they separate, there is no official record. So, is it better to live together without marriage? The answer is simple: experience it yourself. There is no single correct answer. Everyone should try and learn from their own experiences to make the best choice for their situation. 2. The essential step for marriage: the interview. Before deciding to live together, it's important to determine if you are truly compatible. Rather than getting married based solely on emotions, couples should go through an interview process. 1. Coffee. Have conversations over coffee. Can we truly live together? What are our future goals? Do our values align? A relationship built only on material benefits will not last. It is essential to confirm if your values and future aspirations align. If communication flows well, most problems can be solved. However, relationships with poor communication are bound to fail. 3. What is true help? Many people think helping someone means offering financial support or gifts. However, the most important form of support is understanding and communication. Continuously lending money can lead to increased expectations, which may ultimately harm the relationship. Active listening is the best form of support. When you sincerely listen, the other person will eventually open up and share their thoughts. Through this process, you can give each other meaningful advice. Wisdom does not come from meditation or religious rituals, it comes from recognizing and resolving one's own shortcomings while listening carefully to others. 4. Is legal marriage really necessary? Ring. Marriage is different from simple dating. Unlike casual relationships, legal marriage is a promise recorded in the heavens. Marriage is not just a bureaucratic procedure, it is an agreement that is spiritually recorded. If you divorce, this becomes a failed marriage in the records of the universe. However, if you only cohabit and separate, it is simply seen as a breakup, leaving no lasting mark. Love can make everything seem perfect at first, but after living together, flaws and habits become apparent. That's why a 100-day period of effort and understanding is necessary before committing to marriage. Living together reveals your partner's true personality and habits. If selfishness or other serious issues arise during this period, you should reconsider marriage. 5. Conclusion: the choice is yours. Black tick mark. Whether to date, cohabit, or legally marry is a personal decision. Black tick mark. The most important factor is whether the relationship is truly beneficial for both partners. Black tick mark. Regardless of the choice, mutual understanding and communication are key. Light bulb. Key takeaways: 1. Marriage is now a choice, not a necessity. 2. Before living together, have an interview process to check compatibility. 3. True support comes from listening and understanding, not just financial help. 4. Legal marriage is a promise recorded in the heavens. 5. Live together for at least 3 months to a year before making a final decision. Ultimately, the most important thing is to make the choice that leads to happiness. No matter what path you choose, building a relationship based on genuine support and understanding is the key to a successful and fulfilling partnership. 2 Hearts. Title: Love Unwritten. Meena sat across from Chisu in a cozy cafe, the scent of freshly brewed coffee swirling between them. It was their 6th time meeting here, a ritual they had begun ever since they decided to seriously discuss their future. So, do you think we should get married? Meena asked, stirring her cappuccino absent-mindedly. Chisu leaned back in his chair, thinking. Marriage, as in the legal kind, or just living together? Meena sighed. Both. You know, my parents keep asking, and honestly, I'm torn. I don't want a meaningless piece of paper to define us, but I also know that society still sees legal marriage as something important. Jisoo smiled, taking a sip of his Americano. You know, I once read that love should be about mutual growth, not just tradition. If we want to be together, it should be because we help each other become better versions of ourselves, not because that's what's expected. Meena nodded. Exactly. But how do we know if we are really right for each other? I mean, isn't that what legal marriage is supposed to prove? Jisoo shook his head. No, I think it's the daily choices we make for each other that prove it. Marriage is just paperwork. Living together, facing struggles, supporting each other, that's what matters. Meena hesitated, biting her lip. Then, should we try it? Living together before deciding. Jisoo grinned. I thought you'd never ask. 3 months later, Meena and Jisoo found themselves in their shared apartment, experiencing both the joys and struggles of daily life together. The first month was filled with excitement, cooking meals, late-night conversations, and lazy Sundays in pajamas. But as the days passed, reality settled in. Why can't you just put the dishes in the sink after you eat? Meena huffed one evening, arms crossed. Jisoo, who had been sprawled on the couch after a long day at work, sighed. I was going to clean up later. Later. That's what you always say. And what about the laundry? Do you even realize that clothes don't magically wash themselves? Jisoo stood up, running a hand through his hair. Meena, why are we suddenly fighting about chores? Is this really about the dishes? She opened her mouth to retort, but then stopped. No, it wasn't really about the dishes. It was about feeling unseen, about needing reassurance that they were in this together. Taking a deep breath, she sat down. I want to know that we can handle real life together. Jisoo sat beside her, taking her hand. We can. But we need to talk instead of arguing. Let's make a deal. We split responsibilities equally, and if something bothers us, we say it before it turns into a fight. Meena smiled. Deal. A year later, Meena and Jisoo found themselves at the same cafe where they had once debated marriage. So, what do you think? Jisoo asked, looking at her with a teasing smile. Should we do it? Get that meaningless piece of paper? Meena laughed. I think it's not meaningless anymore. It's a promise. Not to society, not to our parents, but to each other. Jisoo reached into his pocket and pulled out a small velvet box, placing it on the table. Then let's make that promise. Meena's heart pounded as she opened the box, revealing a simple yet elegant ring. Tears welled in her eyes as she nodded. Yes. And so, they made their promise, not just before the law, but to each other, knowing that love wasn't about a document, but about understanding, communication, and the choice to stay, every single day.